I'm going to show you how to book highly qualified leads onto your calendar using DMs. The biggest complaint that I get from coaches, consultants, agency owners, service providers online is that they hate sending DMs to strangers to try to get them to book a call to become a client. They don't like the rejection that they face. They don't like being told no. It feels cringy and weird to send DMs, and I completely understand that. This video is going to explain how to get over those feelings of cringe and the fear of rejection. I'm also going to explain what to actually say in the DMs, how to make these successful. We're going to cover the 5 steps of what you need to do in the conversation in order to book a qualified lead onto a call. We're going to talk through the mindset you need to have if you're a 10K per month business owner versus a 1K per month business owner mindset towards DMs type of thing. We're going to talk about conversation opportunities. Basically what this means is, can you see that? You can see that, right? Conversation opportunities. Basically, that means how can we generate opportunities for you to start conversations without it being this like weird cringe interaction where you're just like cold outreaching people? Because I absolutely do not mean cold DMs. There is a very big distinction that we need to make here. These are warm DMs, right? Not cold DMs. Cold DMs, if you're a B2B service provider, fantastic. Do them. But even better and even more leveraged and going to lead to even more qualified leads coming onto the calendar are warm DMs. And that's what we're going to be covering in this training today. First belief I want to instill in your brain is that you have leads. I get so many business owners come to me saying that I don't have any leads and I need more leads. Now, if you're thinking that right now and you're like, oh, am I on the wrong video? Look, it's true. You need more leads, like a human needs oxygen. However, it's not the full picture. If you're a B2C provider, meaning that you work with consumers, if you're like a fitness coach or working with people that are starting out in business, people that aren't anybody but there's not a business, basically, B2C, then you likely have people in your network currently that you can reach out to. You likely have leads that you can speak to. Oftentimes, when a business gets stuck, what they tend to do is optimize for top of funnel, which basically means if we think about your funnel like this, right? We've got the top, we've got the middle, we've got the bottom. At the top of the funnel, you're optimizing for eyeballs. In the middle of the funnel, you're optimizing for nurture and building trust, authority, displaying social proof. In the bottom of funnel, you're optimizing for conversion. Oftentimes what people will do is, because their leads aren't converting or they're struggling to book them onto calls, they'll neglect the middle of funnel, they'll neglect the bottom of funnel, and they just think that it's a case of pour more leads in. Give us more people, give me more leads, leads, and it makes them feel like their business is going forward. It's not always the answer. Getting this right is really important, whether you like it or not. I know this because we've worked with over 600 coaching businesses over the past 5 years. I've been a coach since I was 18 years old. I'm 28, nearly 29, despite me looking youthful, right? I've been doing this for a long time is my point. I'm an unk in this space. But anyway, let's cover rejection first. Let's get this thing out of your head. If you were 20 rejections away from one sale, how fast would you cycle through those rejections? Rejections aren't a bad thing. You have to get through rejections, and you have to do it without emotion, and you have to do it with speed so that you can get to sales. Like, I don't care who you are, what type of business you're in, it doesn't matter. And I don't care what type of funnel you're in, and even if you're not planning on running DMs, and you're not going to use DMs as a form of bringing people onto your calendar forever, and that's fine if you're not going to do that. This is for people that's trying to get to their 10, 20, 30, 40K months. You're going to need to be able to face rejection, and the easiest way to go about it is to reframe rejection as being a good thing by understanding the reality of rejection, being that every single rejection that you receive is a step closer to a sale. Very, very simple and very, very hard to comprehend sometimes, but take it from me. Take it from somebody who's worked with hundreds of coaches. Take it from somebody who's been in this business for a long time. You want these things. You want rejections, because not only are rejections a step closest to sales, but they're also feedback. You can also get feedback from rejection. If somebody says no, you can say why. What is it that's made you reject me? Why am I not worthy? Why is you are worthy? Why do you not see this as a solution to a problem that you're trying to face? And sometimes people will give you some really valuable answers to that question, which is powerful market feedback for when you go into your next sales. So anyway, I'm not going to hammer on rejection anymore. We're going to cover the 5 steps in a second. First, what I want to do is I want to go through some like 10K per month beliefs versus some like 1K per month beliefs. I'm going to sit down so that you can actually see the board here. Hopefully you can see that. So let's go through a 1K sort of, not necessarily just beliefs, but also just like behaviors of people at 1K. So the first behavior that we're going to do is 5 DMs daily per day, right? 5 DMs per day is what that says, if you can't tell. So 5 DMs per day is, I know it sounds like, what do you mean? 5 DMs per day is absolutely criminal if you want to have any success in booking calls onto your calendar. Alex Hormozi that bangs on about this all the time. If you're not going to take it from me, take it from him. Volume negates luck. If you're only going to message 5 people per day, unless those messages are the best possible messages to the best possible leads, you're not going to get anywhere. Somebody who's doing 10K per month, and again, we work with hundreds of business owners, so I'm talking from experience here, are sending 100 plus DMs per day. Volume is really important when it comes to DMs. You are casting a net out. Let's say if you were handing out leaflets, for example, arguably more intrusive than sending a DM. You're going to somebody's house and pushing a piece of paper through their letterbox. Let's say you were sending leaflets out. Would you just do 100? Do you think that would do anything? No, wouldn't do anything at all. You would need to do thousands. And in fact, when people do leaflet marketing, if anybody actually does that anymore, probably businesses do. But basically the point is, you would be sending more out, and they send more out. They do thousands and thousands per day because the volume is really, really important. Getting that message out there. Do not treat DMs as this like personable thing every single time. It is very much, especially when you're sending that initial DM, it's very much a part of your marketing. It's very much a part of the net that you're casting. So that's really important. Volume is obviously important with this. So next, we're going to go through, so a 1K per month person, they try to make sales. They try to make sales. So this is going to be sales. What a 10K per month person does is they try to offer help. So look, what a lot of people think DMs are is selling in the DMs. And sometimes that can be the case. You can absolutely sell in the DMs. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're trying to sell a high ticket service and you're trying to get to 10K per month, then the objective is to book a call. It's not to sell them the program directly. What a 1K per month person might do is try to actually sell to people in the DMs. Do not do this. Forget about the sale. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Forget about it. What a 10K per month person does when they're in the DMs with people is they are trying to offer help. And we'll get onto this more when we talk about the 5 steps to actually having these DM conversations. But it's really important that you go into the sale, the set in the DMs with the mindset of offering help and not trying to offer a sale, right? Otherwise, you're just gonna trip yourself up and lead yourself to disappointment. Let's think of some other habits that a 10K per month versus a 1K per month DM person does. Okay, here's one. Slow versus fast. I know that sounds a bit odd, but speed to lead is really important when it comes to booking somebody onto a call or even making a sale in general. In business, it's a rule. Speed to lead, remember that. Somebody who's making only 1K per month is very slow in their DMs. And again, I'm talking literally from businesses that we've looked into and seen what they're doing in their DMs when they're trying to deal with leads. They will take forever to get back to their leads. And that's a problem. That's a really big problem because people lose interest fast. So what you need to do, and the reason why it's important to message people back fast, is because you want to be having a live conversation with people. I'm going to write this down for you. Live convo. It's not pen pals. It's not emails. It's not sending a letter to each other. It is a live conversation. You need to catch somebody as soon as they reply so that you can be in the conversation with them. They can be on their phone, actively waiting for your reply, you're actively waiting for theirs, and you're just tapping back and forth to each other. Okay? Really, really, really important. I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more because I'm feeling generous. And we're going to put here in the 1K per month, professional. Ignore my spelling. That says professional. Versus teenager. Teenager. Yes. So basically what that means, I see this when people start doing DMs, is they start trying to speak in all these like fancy business terms to their leads. And fair enough, if you're dealing with like CEOs, executives, and you're in a really sophisticated B2B niche, which most of you watching this probably aren't right now, then you need to be doing that. But most of you, like I say, aren't in that scenario. You need to text like a teenager. That's the thing to remember. Text like a teenager. It needs to be casual. You can use slang, not ridiculous amounts. Like don't take the piss. Don't make it weird. Don't sound like an idiot just on purpose for the sake of it. But you need to text like a teenager. You can use abbreviations. You can, say you instead of writing the word you. That's fine. You basically need to make it casual. They need to feel like they're speaking to a real person. They need to feel like they're speaking to a friend. It's as simple as that, okay? Because you're going to be getting into some pretty deep topics, especially when we talk through the process that you need to carry out in the DMs in order to actually get somebody to book. So we're going to cover now, before we move on to that last part, we're going to cover conversation opportunities and what they are. I'm going to probably make a full video and a full guide on conversation opportunities, just because it's the way that you engage leads and actually get them to become worth talking to. But what conversations basically are, it's a way to get people to raise their hand to say, yes, I want to be communicated with, before you actually just do a cold outreach to them and sort of put yourself out on the line. So some examples of this, I'm just going to write them on the board here. We've got lead magnets. So a lead magnet is a free guide, basically offering access to, for example, a training like this that I'm giving to you right now. I'm probably promoted this as a free guide on my Instagram and in my emails and on my ads. And that might be how you found this. So a lead magnet is to get people to raise their hand to say, yes, I want that thing. Now a lead magnet should always be titled and positioned as a solution to a problem. So when somebody raises their hand to get access to a lead magnet, they're unconsciously admitting to having that problem or desire that you can help them achieve, which then opens up the opportunity to continue the conversation to the point where you can book them on a call, which we'll talk about in the process here soon. You've got, we call them indirect call to actions. ICTAs, indirect call to actions. Now, what indirect call to actions basically are is a way to get people to engage with your polls on Instagram or your posts on Facebook or LinkedIn or replies to your email. Basically, asking a very casual question that's niche related to kind of have somebody put their input in. An example of this, and this is the most basic example, if you're a fitness coach, you can use this, of course, but it's not the strongest. Everybody's already used it, but it still works. You can say, and you can put a poll on your Instagram and you can say, who's training today? And then basically a bunch of people will vote on your poll. Yeah, I'm training today, or no, I'm not training today. And that gives you the opportunity, again, it's less warm than a lead magnet, but it gives you the opportunity to reach out and say, what are you training for? Right? Because if they're training, they must have a goal. If they have a goal, you can help them. Simple as that. Some more like examples of that, some more, I guess, like warmer ones that you could use would be like, what do you struggle with the most? This, and this, right? And you put this on the poll option on Instagram, or, on Facebook and LinkedIn have these features as well. Basically, that's going to allow you to, and again, you should cycle through these, like go and ask ChatGPT or, something like that. There's some AI to just think up like 100 of these questions. Say, give me 100 indirect call to actions. Give it the examples that I've just given you there, and it will generate a bunch more that you can just cycle through every single week. They're going to sound relatively similar, but it's going to start to wake your leads up and give you reasons to reach out to them and opportunities to start conversations. Again, you can make it warmer by, asking people what problem they're currently dealing with. So that's a few there. Conversation opportunities, you've also got offer posts. This is the last one I'll give you in this training today, not to overcomplicate it too much. And basically offer posts is where you're gonna give a direct offer. Now, this only works if your audience is warm enough and your middle of funnel is strong enough to the point where people know, like, trust, and see you as an authority to actually engage with something like this. You can, again, there's so many different ways of doing offer posts. You can have a comment CTA to get people to comment a keyword saying that they want access to your offer that you're describing in the post. You can do a DM CTA. Again, like, you can sort of adjust the friction of the opt-in to these posts to make people more or less intentional, right? For example, we sometimes run an offer post with our clients when they first join, and it says something like, it's a story post, right? And it says something like, I'm taking on a group of just 5 people who want to lose 10 pounds in the next 90 days. Comment on, vote on this poll if you want more information, or tap this sticker. There's like a sticker feature. It's like on Instagram, it's like this, it'll be like an emoji in like a little circle. And you can basically put that on the story, and it's super easy for people to just tap it. And then you can see who's tapped it. That's them registering their interest in the offer that I've just explained there. And those are people you can reach out to. So we run that with our clients when they first come on board. We kind of do it as a temperature test. Do this in your following now. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't just go and run something like that, as long as you've got your offer nice and clear, of course. It could be worth doing that just to get, you know, the ball rolling, seeing if you've got any leads that you can turn into clients. Anyway, should we move on to the big one? Should we finally tell you what to actually say in the DMs to make these things work? I've got about 10 minutes before my next onboarding call here. So we've got 5 steps to booking calls. And I've been told by people running huge businesses, I mean like $1 million a month businesses, that this DM framework is the most comprehensive, easy to understand, easy to implement framework out there. I've given it to so many people. It's now used across so many industries. This framework that I am proud to say that I pioneered and created is the best DM framework out there. It's the simplest to follow. If you follow it, you are guaranteed to book calls. If you don't cry when you don't book calls and you get rejected. Okay? So look, step 1 is get response. So you can also just call this opener. Pretty self-explanatory. Step 1 is literally just to get a response in the DMs and open up the conversation. I'm going to give you a few little openers that you can use. There's some very generic ones which, you know, work as long as you've got the right content in place, of course. Like, remember, DMs aren't a full picture. There are other elements to your business which we cover on this channel, so subscribe if you want to see those, of course. But yeah, get response. Basically, one opener that you can use, which is pretty universal, is if somebody follows your account or is following your account, you can say these words. Hey name, I appreciate you sticking around to follow the account. Are you here because you want to get niche tips, so fat loss tips, muscle gain tips, or do you have a more specific goal in mind? And then basically people will respond to that and say, well, whichever they respond, because they're both leading towards them explaining their desire, they'll tell you their goal, basically. And that leads you perfectly onto the next step. Oh, wait, let me give you one more. So I like that opener. The opener that I prefer to use, and the opener that like we use in our business as well, like we might have DM'd you with this, go and check your DMs from us, is, hey name, I appreciate you sticking around to follow the account. As a thank you, we're giving away a guide on XYZ topic. Did you get access to it yet? So for example, for this DMs, it might be, hey name, I appreciate you sticking around to follow the account. We're giving away our free guide on how to book highly qualified how to book highly qualified calls from DMs. Did you manage to access it yet? And then people will say, oh, no, I didn't. And from there you go, well, do you want it? And normally people go, well, yeah, I would like that, as long as it's actually a valuable asset that people are interested in getting. So yeah, that's another way of doing it as well. And then again, it's like the lead magnet thing. They're unconsciously raising their hand to say, I have the problem that you're trying to solve with this resource that you're offering to me. So Those are just a few openers that you can use. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Opening the conversation is a numbers game, right? Like, don't overthink your opener. There isn't a magic opener that works any better than others. It just depends. So next is going to be goal. It is really important that once you get the response, your first thing you've got to focus on in the conversation is understanding the person's goal. Do not move on in your conversation until you've got this, because people are not going to respond. People don't like talking about things they don't want. People do like talking about things they do want. So talk about the thing that they want, right? Ask them, what's your goal? If they say, oh, I'm just trying to get in shape, or I'm just trying to grow my business, I'm just trying to get sober, get specific. That's not enough. Do not skip the specifics of finding out their goal. You need to get them to paint you a picture, because it's not you that they're painting a picture, it's them painting a picture to themselves. How many times can you say painting a picture, Tom? Jesus. But anyway, once you've got super clear on the goal, and I mean like get them to explain exactly how they want to look, how they want to feel, how they want their business to be, how much money they want to make, how they want their lifestyle to be, get really clear on it. Because from there, what you're going to do is you're going to find the problem. Wow. Who would have guessed it? Basically, you need goal, then you need problem. And again, this number 3 step, the most important step in the conversation. If you do not get the problem, there is no next step. There's a saying which is no pain, no next step. There's another saying which is value is created when pain is alleviated. So you get paid to remove people's problems and pains. That's like literally what the point of your business is. So if you don't know what the problem and pain that you're trying to alleviate or remove for somebody is, how are you ever meant to make them an offer? Why would they ever get on a call with you? It's really important that you get a clear problem. And again, not just like same as the goal, not just a vague overview. You need specifics. What are they specifically dealing with which they need your help on? Once you got clear on the problem, guess what you're going to do then? You're going to offer them help. It's going in capitals. It's going in capitals because it's really important. Problem's more important. Problem's the most important. Help is the sort of the other thing. In order to like actually tie the conversation together and book a call, you need to offer them help. Now, this does not mean, and please hear me when I say this, if you don't take anything else from this video, take this. It does not mean offer them a call. It means offer them help. For example, if somebody said, I'm really just struggling with my diet, I don't know what to eat, I can't handle my food cravings, rather than going, well, let's jump on a call, get you a game plan in place and see if I can be your coach. Instead of saying that, you're going to say, look, I deal with this all day, every day. I've mastered my own food cravings and I've got my nutrition dialed. Do you want me to just show you like exactly what I do with mine and what we do with our clients? So you're saying, do you want me to just show you how to solve the painful problem you've just explained to me that you're experiencing? Why would they say no? You shouldn't be making an offer for a call unless you know it's going to be a yes. Really important. You should not be making those offers unless you know it's going to be an absolute no-brainer. Sometimes people will turn around and go, what's the catch? It sounds too good to be true. And that's actually not a bad thing if somebody says that. Number 5, guess what you're going to do now? Once they say yes to getting the help, you're going to offer the call. This is the easy bit. Jesus, can I hold a pen like that? Is that legal? Probably. You're going to offer them the call from offering the help. And as long as you've set it up right, then it's pretty easy to get a yes on the call. As long as you've got the yes to the help, that's the yes to the call. They've already said the yes. You're then just going to tie it up and say, hey, the format of me giving you this help is going to be in the format of us getting on a call. So you can say, look, well, let's book in a 15-minute call so I can give you a solid game plan and help you overcome those food cravings. And 9 out of 10 times people will be like, yeah, I'm in. For any visual learners out there, if you want to make this even more simple with the DMs, I want you to imagine your prospects are stood on one side of a chasm in their current situation, and they want to get to the other side, which is their desired outcome. Okay? And basically in the DMs, all you're doing is going, you're kind of like stood with them on this side, right, in the DMs. You're basically saying, hey, like, well, what's that thing over there that you want? Oh, okay, cool. And like, what's the thing stopping you from getting there? Okay, got it. Well, what I can do, if you want, is I can wave a magic wand and I can get rid of this thing so that you can get to the other side. That's it. That's how you do DMs. If that was useful, subscribe. If you want to book a call with me, there'll be a link in the description to do so. See if you want to work with us, and peace out.